actually not going to be talking about Xbox today. Because you know what? There is a lot of PlayStation news, and it does not look good for Sony, King David. As a matter of fact, you and I were talking, and I think we both agree that Sony Interactive Entertainment, i.e. PlayStation, is limping into 2026. And we have two stories that are going to blow your mind and actually add some fuel to this fire. So, King, you and I were talking in our DM as we normally do. And yesterday, in a very surprising announcement, we have Horizon Steel Frontiers and Ratchet and Clank Ranger Rumble releasing on PC, mobile, and not the PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4. As a matter of fact, they are skipping consoles altogether, and it enraged the PlayStation Nation. As a matter of fact, the head of the studio that's going to be bringing Horizon Steel Frontiers had to come out and make a presser and promise that they're not done with PlayStation consoles. You know, a shout out to Nico Muller, who is one of the finest posters on X. He goes on to say, not gonna lie, King, Sony releasing 2 new games on mobile and PC, but not on PlayStation, was not on my list this year. I mean, why would you not support your own baseline? As a matter of fact, we've seen several content creators who you're talking about need to pay the rent, you know, because the rent is due every month.
Facts.
Have come out and defended this. My question to you, King David, outside of what the H is happening at PlayStation, are a few things. One, does this mean that they're officially gone third party? Because I would say yes. I'm wondering when some people in the games community, and of course, more importantly, the games media, are going to start writing the hashtag PlayStation is dead articles. When that's going to happen. But, you know, I want to get your hot take on this, because these games, you know, one is a rumbler in the one with Ratchet and Clank. I don't know how well that's going to do. I'm sure that they have an audience that's going to play it. I love Ratchet and Clank. I would really like a new Ratchet and Clank, but because the last two didn't sell as well, that you might not get one, which is very sad, because the last two were stunning and they were incredible platformers, and it's what Insomniac Games knows how to do. But the Horizon game by NC Soft is going to be for an audience that's really not here in North America. It is really an Asia-based audience. It might do good there, but again, this is something that is not coming to the actual console. 2 games released for PC and mobile. And you know what's? This is the sticker. This is the stinger, if you will. You know where you can play those games that you can't play on PlayStation 5? You can play those on the Xbox Ally X and S. There you go, King David. That's right. If you choose to play either of those games, you can play them on an Xbox device, but you cannot play them on a PlayStation device. Let's get your thoughts, man.
I'm doing the Vanna White. Oh, man. Okay, so I'm not going to say that this is unprecedented. Like, oh, this has never happened before. Xbox has done this before. Xbox has done this with Gears Pop. I was a huge Gears Pop fan.
Me too. It's fun.
Yeah, if anybody goes and look at my gamer score, I'm talking about days upon days in that title. My engagement level was high, and when they canned that game, I was really upset. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite and tell you guys, oh, this is wild, they're going out of business. No, they're doing business. Just the same way the State of Play Japan, I championed that show. They're showing monitors, they're showing speakers, they're showing charging stations, they're showing cloud gaming, they're showing the you don't necessarily need a PlayStation 5, and soon you're going to have the update to the portal where there's absolutely no login to the base console based on the mobile app that they're using now. Listen, all of this stuff has been in the works. PlayStation, I want you to think of it as the Titanic. It's a very large, slow turning ship, right? It's not as agile as you could say the speedier, more modern Microsoft Xbox Cruiser that can spin at the drop of a dime and actually switch directions. PlayStation really needs a lot. It's an older ship. It does things slower. But when it does do it, it tries to do it as efficiently as possible because they don't have that much fuel, right? They don't have what is it? Uh, mid-ocean refueling. They have to get from point A to point B and refuel there. Now, with that analogy given to you, I want you to understand everything that Xbox is doing, they're going to do. Everything that Xbox has done, they're using it as a blueprint. Whatever Xbox has gotten wrong in certain instances, they will capitalize on that and actually try to improve on it. So they're releasing mobile games is a smart move. Y'all thought the China Hero project was based upon them going to China, going to all these Asian markets, and just getting games for PlayStation. PlayStation is not their center of their universe. And this last state of play is a showing, if you will, that you aren't the center of their universe. Actually, they have a very large universe in which they're going to start going to different planets. They're going to start going cloud. They're going to start entertaining PC. They're going to start greatly entertaining mobile. And with this mobile app, and they're venturing into mobile, and I told you, hashtag no PlayStation 6, we're going to run it up on these bumps. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. I told you that they will become an app before this generation is over. And that app will be on PCs because what they're seeing now with the advent of Steam machines and everything that Steam is doing and Xbox is doing with Magnus and their foray into everything hybrid console PC, with everybody else taking their hands, and those ships are faster moving ships and they're able to capitalize a whole lot faster. They're seeing it and they're understanding what can they do right now. On a software level, what they can do is make sure that they're every place, always. If they get a PlayStation app, and I want you to hear me out, once you put it on, I heard they were supposed to lock it in with iPhones, but that kind of fell through because then you cut the market in half for no reason whatsoever. So they want to make sure that the app works well with iPhones, iOS, and works well with Android. And you're seeing that this app works very well with Android and, of course, iOS. So these games are going to be working well with that, but also incline launching on PC. You're not going to lose the PC market. The Asian market, if you will, is very mobile heavy. They're going to capitalize on that aspect. They got to make money. They need different revenue streams. And seeing this makes me happy, makes me know that at some point, PlayStation is going to be a diverse enough to pare down, make smaller titles, get them into everyone's hands across the world, quite literally, cell phones, make it happen, but show that you're willing to fight. Show that you're not stiff. You're not an old fuddy-duddy. You're not that guy on your lawn. Get off my lawn. No, it's not about consoles. These dudes keep talking about console sales. And first of all, stop saying sales and start saying shipped. If you look at the manifesto, if you looked at everything that they talked about, they're talking about shipped and not sales. They did give you sales for Ghost of Yode, which was 3.3 million in a couple of months. And I believe that is a great thing for them because normally their games don't sell like that in this generation. So to get a game to sell like that, and it's sold mostly in Japan, and the rest of the Western world kind of is slow to adapt to it because I don't think the marketing is there. I don't think they know how to market right now. But since terrestrial television is kind of dead, but I do believe that through these apps, they can market properly. They can market their games properly. They could give you a concise idea of what cloud streaming is when you deal with PlayStation. But again, this is a bigger step, letting you know that they are everything outside of the console. Everything that Xbox has been doing for years, everything that everyone else has been doing for years, they're finally here to the party. They're fashionably late, But when they did show up, they do show up with a new title or 2 new titles, and also a wonderful new app that's going to let you know more games like this is going to come to the handhelds, the PC and the mobile, without even touching the PlayStation. And that should not enrage you. You should want those IPs to live on because, again, Ghost of Yode at 3.3 million. I don't think it broke even on the money that they spent for it being, it's like DLC reused assets. I think at some point, if it reaches probably 5 to 6, it will reach its money back. I don't think these games sell on the PlayStation platform regardless. And I do believe that these games actually sell on mobile and do have a life on mobile and those Android type handhelds or the PC handhelds. So I do think they will find life there. I don't think they find life on the PlayStation itself.
Well, I mean, again, you made mention of something that's really important. Xbox has been doing this for a while, right? We know that their next Xbox is going to be a different type of console. That we're going to see multiple OEM partners.
Yeah.
I keep banging this drum, folks. I do think that when you start to blur the lines of console and PC, this is where mobile comes in. Now, Xbox allows you to play your games pretty much anywhere. There is a significant, I think there's over 1,000 games that are available on Xbox Play Anywhere. They're working on a program that is going to allow you as the consumer to play your entire library from A-hole to elbow on any device that you have, whether that be phone, whether that be handheld, your TV, because TV is going to come back in a big way. These TVs are powerful, and you're going to be able to at some point run a Series X game at high fidelity on some of these TVs. Now, is it going to be as good as a console? Probably not, but that's not the point. The point is that you can play anywhere. This new direction for Sony, they have to take this direction. I do see some pushback from some of the people in the chat, like, oh, this is, this is an Xbox show. Why are you talking about Sony? Well, this is a big story. And Sony is going to be making moves that are going to make a lot of people on PlayStation side very uncomfortable. The traditional PlayStation is dead, whether you want to admit it or not. Okay? They are moving in different ways. Now, the PlayStation 6, make no mistake, and I've said this many times before, is going to be a powerful box. But you're going to start to see at some point they're going to be shifting to day and date on PC. I don't think you're ever going to see day and date on Xbox, day and date on Switch. You are going to see day and date on PC because of the success of Helldivers 2. That right there, that incredible success is the reason why they are making these moves. So you keep saying that there's not that, and you've been saying this for a while, hashtag no PlayStation 6. I believe there's going to be a PlayStation 6, but what's interesting here, King David, is during their financials, we learned that PlayStation 5, according to the big brass that move mountains, Lin Tao, who is the CFO, she said publicly, and this, you got to remember, this has got to be real because it moves stocks, that the PlayStation 5 is where? In the middle of its life cycle. So if it's in the middle, and again, last night we talked about it, me, Kay, and Hargeet Chani, and both of them seem to think that there is going to be a PlayStation 6 sooner than later. But if we go based on the math, and I'm no mathematician, folks, this console launched in 2020. We're in 2025. Lin Tao says that we are at the halfway mark of the PlayStation 5. If they are going to release the PlayStation 6 somewhere after or close to the 10-year cycle of the PlayStation 5, where does that put that console? 2029? 2030? So
Well,
these are the different moves, King, that they're making. And look, these games launching on mobile and PC and not on PlayStation, I'm already starting to see it. It is making a lot of the PlayStation community very uncomfortable.
they
And
don't
I
buy
think they're
games
going to
anyway.
what's
So
that?
I said they don't buy games anyway. It's listen. Xbox had to stop listening to the vocal minority and listen to who actually spending money, the casuals. PlayStation never really listened to any of you guys at all. You're just a byproduct of your own fandom. And the reason why I say hashtag no PlayStation 6 is a lot of guys get it kind of misconstrued, like I don't want a PlayStation 6. I'm a tech head. I have everything. I
Mm-hmm.
everything. I'd give me a PlayStation 6 tomorrow, but the reality is there isn't one right now. And the reality is the world that we're living in right now, I don't know what the world looks like in 2029. Now, I
Right. No
told
one
you
does.
when this started that when this generation started, I told you in 2018 that that the PlayStation, because the PlayStation 5 was launching, I told you that the PlayStation 6, yeah, it was 2018 to 2019 or before the PlayStation 5 launched. The PlayStation, Jim Ryan said that might be their last console. But I got some white papers that explain to me on their their planning schedule, the timeline. They were looking at releasing the PlayStation 6 in 2028, late 2028, early 2029, and that they was going to continue to work with AMD and all that other stuff. All that stuff was there, and I I still have the white papers and stuff like that. And in seeing that, I said this can go one of two ways. Now, over the years, handheld gaming became more prevalent. Now, I know from my contacts over at Microsoft and Xbox that they were fiddling around with what was that this the streaming device, which eventually got canned but turned into the Fire Stick. Right? Now, this is the reason why this is very important what I'm telling you. It got canned and got turned into the Fire Stick. So okay, that thing didn't happen. Remember, Xbox was working on their handheld, their internal handheld for themselves, and they apparently that got shelved. And then we have the Xbox ROG Ally and Xbox ROG Ally X. I personally believe that the internal handheld is canned, the same way the streaming device is canned. Right now, I could be wrong, but I do believe that it's going to happen. Now, this device comes out and it's an overpriced device, but it gives you exactly what it said it was going to do and it delivers it in spades. Now, can it be $800? Yeah, I would have loved that price. $800 is an affordable price that I think kind of works in the marketplace. $1,000, hell to the no. But I understand for those people that say, you know what, I'm going to dig in my pockets this holiday. I work very hard for it. I get it. Full disclosure, Xbox sent me mine as a review unit, and again, the video is up, and we talked about it and stuff like that. So, that has full disclosure. I'm not telling anybody to purchase or not to purchase. It's a wonderful device if you understand what you're getting into and what you're looking for. Now we have news of the Magnus and the PlayStation 6 and the PlayStation handheld. With the PlayStation Portal being as successful as it is, I honestly believe that the handheld from the PlayStation can come out a lot faster. All I have to do is throw an SSD, some more inputs and stuff like that, jazz up the CPU, a little bit on the GPU, but make sure that the device mirrors and imitates the Portal in form and delivery, but also just make it natively downloadable games that you can play that are PlayStation 5 games. That your library that you have, this is where the app comes in. This is where their mobile storefront comes in. This is where Sony thinking big brain mode actually makes sense. They put out this device. The device comes out for $600-700. I think it kills. I think this device sells 10 million units easy. Nintendo could do it. I believe they can do it in spades. Effectively, what does that do to the home market if the home, and that device will come out in 2027. What does that do to the PlayStation 6 that is not ready yet? Late 2028, 2029. That device being super successful and you're able to hook it up to the television, and at some point you won't need a PlayStation 5 at all. With the PlayStation 5 Pro still being the de facto last console and still at this price point of $700-800, you will have to put a PlayStation 6 in the store at upwards of $1,000 or $900. I don't think PlayStation has the stomach to sell a unit with that high price tag. That's why they stopped reporting PlayStation 5 Pro prices. Numbers. You have to see the forest for the trees. It's not that I don't want a PlayStation 6. It's just that logically, from a business standpoint, a unit that you can get in your hand that can deliver all the stuff that you want and is cheaper, more versatile, makes a whole lot more sense. I think they want to be in a position of Nintendo and out of the console business. Xbox is in a different position. They're launching a whole lot sooner. I would have told you the same thing for them if they was talking about 28, 29 with Steam dropping this year. They need to have a unit next year. They definitely do. So these two juggernauts are in peril in the sense that if you wait too long, the streaming platform, and we're in a platform era, we saw Xbox lose the digital era based upon the users. They lost that to PlayStation. That's why PlayStation units are so high, because the user base. They're not going to lose this to Steam. So hashtag no PlayStation 6 is not me just talking out of my behind. It's just actually backing it up with the data that makes sense. Now, everybody wants a PlayStation 6. Yes, if it does come out in 2027, that'll be a miracle within itself. And then there'll be a PlayStation 6. But if you're talking about late 2028, early 2029, in the climate that we're in right now, absolutely not. Absolutely not.